Hi everyone, my name is Heather and I'm the person behind Happy Puppy Truffles. Today I wanted to share with you guys a fun way to take some traditional origami and connect it so that you can make your own kind of fun project. And this doesn't specifically have to be for the holidays. There's a lot of fun times you certainly could use this process. And there's lots of things you could make too. So I'm just going to kind of share with you guys one way. We're going to be taking the traditional lover's knot and then combining it to make this kind of frame. And you could certainly make it different sizes. To be honest, this was all the paper I had, so this is the size it wound up being. But that would make a really cool nameplate for a dinner party if you wanted to put a little extra effort into some things. You could obviously make it bigger and have photos in there. You could make it a little smaller, make it more square shaped and have like a little photo inside and use that as a Christmas ornament. Lots of different fun things you could use this for. And of course, depending on the size of paper that you use, you'll have lots of different things that you can make. I used for this particular piece that you see here some handmade paper from a local town, and it happens to be, let's see here, it's about 7 by 7 centimeters, so it's a little unique in its size. Usually, you know, regular paper that's quartered would be 7.5 by 7.5, so it's a little smaller, but you get something like this with a total of, I want to say 20. Let's see here, is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, I guessed right, 20 pieces. So I was just going to remind you guys how to make the lover's knot and then show you the way that things were connected when you want to make something like this. So let me move this to the side really quick, and I'll remind you guys how to make a lover's knot. You want to start with your color side facing down, and we're just going to go ahead and fold our paper in half in a big triangle, and then fold it in half again. Now, this origami is great because the folds aren't that hard, so you can get lots of people to help you out. It's a great way to practice. If you do have big dreams of making a lot of these, you can ask other people to lend a hand. But we're just going to be doing here a blend space by folding all 4 of the corners into the center. Flip it over, and then we're just going to repeat those steps going the other way too. Once you've gotten those all folded in, flip it over and just go ahead and make sure the creases are clear by folding it in half and folding it in half the other way. That'll make the next step a little easier. Now I've got these little pockets that you see here, and I'm just going to go ahead and first just take each one and pop it out so that it creases good. The creases do need to be reversed because of the fold we just made. I'm just going to go around here and pop these out. And when you make it with a bigger paper, this is an easier step. When you're using smaller paper, it can be a little frustrating sometimes trying to get in there, but you want to get things kind of started and opened up. And if you made those pre-creases, this bottom part should start popping out on its own. If you flip it over and look at it and give a little push in here, following the creases that you made from making the folds before, you should be able to get it to come together here in what is like kind of similar to a square base. And then you can smooth this top part out if you want to, or you can just kind of leave it poofy, because what we're going to do is actually push these little guys down to create this nice little square. So we're opening up the side pocket and pushing it down to flatten it out and make a square. And I'll do that for all 4 sides so that I wind up getting this nice little kind of rectangular shape here. Then I'm going to take each of these 4 sides, and there's a lot of paper here, so you want to take your time, make a crease, and get it to fold down so that you can get a good point on each end and fold down. And like I said, when you're doing this with smaller paper, it's a little trickier because there is more paper and it can be harder to make these small creases and small folds. But you want to try your best to keep things nice and straight and flat, so we get something like this. Now I'm going to open it up from inside here. You can see there's a little mountain here. It's a good idea to just grab a hold of all of this stuff on the sides, kind of curl it out a little bit almost, and then we're just going to give it a good pull. And it should pop open just naturally on its own, where that inner part, that little pillow, pops open, and with the right tension it'll just flatten right out. Trust me, I know it seems a little scary at first, but it works fine, and you should be able to get something that looks like this. Now, you want to make a few of these, and if you do something like with my project where I had alternating colors, I just happened to have 6 red and then I happened to have 14 white, and so I did what I could to make with that. But I'll show you just the basic process of connecting them in a straight line, and then I'll show you the tips I used for coming to a corner piece here. But you've got each of these pieces, and you're just going to rotate so you have one standing up with this nice kind of pillar-like edge, and this way has a little pointy part to it. And I'm just going to take this little part here and slide it into the side. And you want to get it right in here so that there's just one layer of paper on the outermost part. So I'm just going to slide that in, get these little 2 parts to go underneath, and slide this in as close as it'll get. Now, as a way of reminding yourself, the square pieces that have the little points here are the places you want to fold towards the center to. So I'm going to kind of remember that. Hold it with my thumb, flip it over. This is the part I want to fold to. This is the side I just connected. So I'm going to take this tip and bring it over because it comes towards the center. And then this side too. And if you do that for both of those, now you'll notice there's another little layer of paper here. Just leave that flat. It should just smooth out into a nice square. If you flip it over and you give it a little tug, it shouldn't come apart very easily. Obviously, if you yank it really hard, it'll come apart. But that should be able to give you a nice way of kind of latching onto things. And then you just continue with this same process and from either side. And if you recall, because remember that this part that has the little pointy sides, that's the center thing we want to focus on. Remember that again, flip it over. And then I just take this side and fold towards the center this time. And in this case, because there's only 3, it's pretty easy to follow what you're doing. You don't get confused or lost on things. But it can get a little confusing when you start doing a big row of it. So it's good to kind of keep that in mind, that wherever this pointy part is, not the pillar, but the pointy part is, the center, the X center of that is the point of reference of where you'd like all of those adjacent points to come towards so that you can create a nice little kind of snatching of the sides to keep everything nice and secure. Now, I found when I did this that it works best if you have a pillar piece as your corner piece. So I'm going straight along this way, and then I can just turn it, and when I turn it, then it becomes a pointy piece, and that's good because then I can take a pillar and connect it here. And when you connect, you're just going to be going ahead and putting things underneath again. Remember, this is the pointy piece. It's a different color, but I want to remember that's the place I want to go ahead and fold towards. So I could take this opposite side and fold towards the center. And then I'm just going to do this side too, because even though I've already done it for another side, that you're going to do it twice because it's a corner piece. And that should give you a nice little beginning then to continue on for making a piece of, if you're doing a frame. So you can use this just to make a nice runner. You can make Christmas decorations. You can use it as a really fancy ribbon on a fancy present for somebody. You can make bracelets. You can make crowns, necklaces, all sorts of fun chokers, all sorts of fun things depending on the kind of paper you use for it. But just that simple process of latching and remembering that piece with the pointy part being the center of where you want to fold your centers, your little edges to, gives you a nice latching system, and you should be able to make something kind of cool like this. Now the underside is kind of poofy. I did have this under something for a little while. If it's bothering you, you can put a little bit of tape down, or you can just leave it under something for a little while if you really want to try to smush it down. It depends on what you're using it for, I suppose. But that's just one thing that you can do using the lover's knot, which is a really fun modular piece. I found a few other people online who've found some really neat ways of connecting this to make some fun projects. So check the internet for those, because there's lots of neat ideas out there, that's for sure. And I'll have some more fun projects to share with you guys in the days to come. Thanks again always so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye!